It's time for Sunday brunch. We've got Julie Wheeler here in the kitchen, and she's going to make a low-fat version of quiche with shrimp. And it sounds really good, but you said you're going to spice it up here with some shrimp to make it a little bit heartier for the holidays.
Yeah, and the trick to low fat actually is lots of flavor.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people complain that it doesn't have enough flavor because the fat is what adds the flavor. So you've got to kind of substitute that with some different things. So that's what we did this morning. We're going to start out, one of the tricks to low fat, I used a 2% of cottage cheese. I don't use fat-free, but 2%. You want a little fat in there. And then I used 4 tablespoons, it's a cup of 2% cottage cheese.
Okay.
4 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, which is a low-fat cheese.
And it has a lot of flavor.
And it has a lot of flavor. It boosts the flavor. And then a tablespoon of spicy brown mustard.
Okay.
And
also a lot of flavor.
A lot of flavor. Half a teaspoon of hot sauce. And I took and put it in the food processor.
Yeah, and that's why it looks different, because it's not just, you know, it's not the chunky cottage cheese look, and it kind of changes the way it will taste.
Well, and you want the texture to be right. You don't want it to have like little lumps in it for a quiche. It won't be the same. So I put that in there. Then I did a cup of egg beaters.
All right.
So that's our other substitute that we use
Yeah, the
a
egg
lot.
beaters helps it not have as much calories as a normal egg.
Exactly, exactly. And cholesterol, so for people who have low cholesterol diets. And then this is a cup of green onions.
Also a lot of flavor.
A lot of flavor. And then I used, this is a ½ pound of shrimp. And I sauteed the shrimp ahead of time. I used a little Old Bay seasoning. I use different things. Whatever your flavor is for seafood, I'll use a little bit of that, because spice, you can use any spice you like, and it doesn't add calories typically.
And that's a good thing to keep in mind when you're cooking.
Exactly.
It's the spices aren't the ones that
And then this is a half of a cup, or a half of a red pepper, and I sauteed that in a pan in, of course, our Pam cooking spray.
Yes.
And then once you mix this all up, I mix it up, and I take this is a cup of cheese, and it's a low-fat cheese.
Okay, because this is where you could get some of that fat in there.
Right, sharp cheddar. And I put half of it in, and then I take the other half and I just sprinkle it on top, and it makes a nice little cheesy crust for the top.
Oh boy! And you used here a pre-baked or a pre-cooked pie crust?
Yes, you have to cook the pie crust ahead of time at 15 minutes based on what the instructions are, and I buy the kind you roll out and just kind of shape it and put it in there.
And then Julie's going to pour this in there and pop it in the oven, and then we'll come back and taste some of this low-fat shrimp quiche and tell you if it's actually living up to the low-fat. It always does. Thank you, Julie.
Well, the flavor is what we want to make sure it's living up to today. So.
And if you'd like to find